Hi, folks. I'm Richard Friedman, and welcome to my political cartoon countdown for October 27th, 2023. This week, we're doing the top 3 political cartoons. Every so often, we get together, and based upon X, basically the most popular cartoons on X, and I put it together, and I put it in order, and I shoot it out to you, the top 3. So here, let's have a go at it. Here is Número 3 de los Semanas. Here we have Representative Ken Buck, Republican, Colorado. I'll show it to you one more time here so you get the idea, the drift of this. There he is. Okay, now he's watching. Representative Ken Buck, Republican, Colorado, watching Republican nominee for House Speaker Jim Jordan, Republican, Ohio, refused to answer a reporter's question on whether Jordan would publicly say the 2020 presidential election was not stolen. He refused to say it was not stolen. After all this, after all the cases and everything that's been brought out here, he's a real hardliner, Jim Jordan was, and that's apparently why he didn't make it to the 217. Now, I'm getting to a good point here, so just hang in there. I know this is past tense, but in a way, it's still relevant, and that's probably why it ranks so high in the countdown. Okay, we're not so. Given Buck had said that was an important issue for him, so Buck was very honest in that respect, and he said it was an important issue for him. That ahead of the first ballot that Jordan lost with Buck among the 20 votes against him today. Given ahead of the vote, Buck had said he plans to speak further with Jordan. So he was going to make a real but hard line, last ditch approach to Jim Jordan to see if he really wanted to support him, and he wanted him to say to him, look, okay, I saw what was going on. I saw the cases. I was very strong supporter of President Trump. I believe in his policies, and I thought he was correct in his assumptions about the election. What he said about the election, he didn't make no assumptions. What President Trump said, that the election was frauded, and well, I won't go there, but you get the drift of that. You've heard enough of that. So what I'm trying to make a point here is that they now went ahead and they elected Mike Johnson, who worked for Texas with their case, and he was like the champion gung-ho lawyer who led the drive to change the votes in 4 swing states. The lawsuit that Texas brought and they took it to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court wanted no part of it. But he led that charge. You know, he was like George Washington in reverse. You know, in that respect, he led the charge, and Buck apparently voted. There was a unanimous vote, so Buck, the Republic 217, they voted for him. So apparently and all the Republicans went the other way, you know, for their speaker. So the thing was that they had no objections here to that. See, because this man basically, he was low keyed but here's my point. Here's where I'm coming from. Now, going back to Abraham Lincoln, when he was running, this was before the Civil War, and he saw the divisions that were in this country over slavery and other things, and he said, "A house divided cannot stand." That was in his speech. That was his House Divided Cannot Stand speech when he was running for the Senate in Illinois, just ahead of the Civil War. And that's what he was saying, a house divided cannot stand. So today, I say to you that not only can an America divided not stand, but a world in which America is divided cannot stand. As we see what's happening here with Israel and what they went through there. And I'm not going to, we've heard enough of that. We've heard it. We've heard it. We saw it. And we lived through it. So I'm not going to dwell into that. But I'm saying is that nobody can doubt that in their calculations, Hamas took in to their calculations that America was so divided. And the same thing goes back to when the Russians, under President Putin, went back, took Crimea. This goes way back when President Obama was president. And they saw the divisions in this, President Putin saw the divisions in this country, and he probably took that into his calculations as well. So division, I'll say it again, this is my own thought here. You know, a world cannot stand with a divided America. And that's an expansion of what then candidate for the Senate from Illinois, Abraham Lincoln, said. House divided cannot stand. That was back in 1858. Okay, now here's this cartoon. Now, I'm going to go back to this cartoon with that foundation there. Okay, given Buck had said that was an important issue for him, that ahead of the first ballot that Jordan lost with Buck among the 20 votes against him, to given ahead of Buck had said plans to speak further with Jordan. So he was going to try to make an attempt, a good attempt. Now here he goes. Here goes Buck. Here he is. There he is. And he's saying here, that does it. I'm not talking to Jordan about the weather. Even the weather. He won't get my vote even if his so-called legislative terrorist group threatens a primary attack on me. Okay? So there was talk that Jim Jordan is known for having a terrorist. They call it that. They're not saying they're terrorists, but they call it like in a kind of an analogy. They call him legislative terrorist. You know, that's what they refer to him as, a legislative terrorist. And he has groups of people working for him. So I said to him, I said here, a primary attack on me. So his so-called legislative terrorist group threatens a primary attack, because that's their MO in terms of the Republicans who they call them rhinos. First stage one, they call them rhinos. That's number one. The stage two is when they primary people who speak against President Trump in any shape, way, or form. They then threaten to primary them. So that's like a primary attack. So I made the analogy there, a metaphor, whatever you want to call it. And so there it is here, and that was that. That's why I say to you that this cartoon is still relevant today. And one thing else I want to inject here is that if Mike Johnson, the guy, I saw him make a speech when he took his acceptance speech, they asked him, again, somebody came up to him, and he was surrounded by a bunch of these ladies there, and they asked him, do you still think the election was stolen? And he wouldn't respond to that. Can you imagine if Mike Johnson said, yeah, I made a mistake. The election was not stolen. I was wrong. And I did what I thought was right then for President Trump, and I still support President Trump and his policies. But in that way, I believe it was wrong. Could you imagine how that would have united this country had he said that? So I have hopes out for Mike Johnson. He did give many parts of his speech was good. So I'm hopeful that someday he might come around to that. Or he doesn't, that kind of thinking about unifying the country. And so I'll leave you with that thought. Had he said that, could you imagine how that would have been a great step towards unifying this country? Had he said, gee, back way then, I stood up for Texas, you know, I stood up for Texas, and I believe they were right in their lawsuit against those 4 swing states in trying to overturn the election and the votes. And I believed with all my heart, and now I know I was wrong. And I can't say, you know, I'm not going to say I'm sorry, but I was wrong, period. So had he said that, that would have been a great unifier. That's all I'm going to say. All right, I probably said too much, but that's it here. There he is. That was Buck. Okay, so that was Numero Tres de los Hermanos. Now, here's number 2. Here's number 2 of the week. Here we have Marjorie Taylor Greene. Now, her fantasy is that Trump becomes Speaker of the House. And here she's closing her eyes and she's fantasizing about former President Donald Trump becoming Speaker of the House, which she floated that idea for a while. I believe she did. You know, I believe. I could be wrong. I could be wrong. I'm just saying, I think, okay? I think she floated that idea. I have a vague memory of, because I don't follow her, you know, what she says, you know, but I have a vague memory and I could be wrong. But I think she said that. So here goes the introduction to that cartoon. Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene, Republican Georgia fantasy. Former President Donald Trump replacing ousted Speaker Kevin McCarthy, Republican California, giving Greene's posted on X her first reason for supporting Trump for Speaker. He will end the war in Ukraine. So Marjorie Taylor Greene wants to end the war in Ukraine. And this guy now, Mike Johnson, he said he was going to support Israel, which is well and good. But he didn't. In his intro, he didn't say anything about Ukraine. He said we're just going to have to check on them and this and that. But he didn't add that we're going to support Ukraine too. And I'll say this. I'm going to inject this in my own thought from my own thought. I think you have to look at Ukraine and the Israel situation and supporting Israel and supporting Ukraine as linked, because you got the same characters it's the same characters, only a different stage, you know. I'm going to say this, and it's like those Doris Day movies with Rock Hudson, you know. You got Love It Come Back, and there was this, and then there was another movie that they did together, and all these movies were different themes, different things, but it was the same characters. Well, that's what you got here. It's the same. You're dealing with the same oppositions, the same autocracies that want to rule, that want America to be dropped, to be diminished, and they want to, and they're promoting their system of government. Or you see that happening in South America. You see that happening all over the world, you know, in Africa. So this is their agenda. So it's the same characters that we're dealing with. So there has to be a linkage. If you don't, it's like if you don't support. I'm going to put it to you this way: if you don't support Ukraine, it's like flooding all the toilets on the Titanic before it went down. You know, that's what it's like. You know, so there I kind of grew some analogy, but that's about all I could think of. So there it is. So I'm going to read this to you again now. Marjorie Taylor Greene posted on her X reason for supporting Trump for Speaker. He will end the war in Ukraine. That was definitely, with Trump having said his plan includes getting Zelensky and Putin into a room together and figure out a deal. Yeah. And the former president, back in July of 23, at a rally, called congressional Republicans to withhold military support for Ukraine until the Biden administration cooperates with their investigations into President Biden and his son. So she wants to withhold. She's saying, no, we're not going to cut them off. We're just going to hold it off, the aid, until the Biden administration upgrades until the Justice Department starts investigating more of President Biden. And there's been no evidence of linkage between him and his son. No concrete evidence has come forth. So military support for Ukraine until the Biden administration cooperates with their investigation into President Biden and his son. And currently, Foreign Affairs Chair Michael McCall says aid to Israel from its attack by Hamas is being jeopardized by the gridlock among House Republicans over the choice for their next speaker. Well, that was true. Well, thank God we're past that. So here I got, again, here on this cartoon, I've got her fantasy. She's closing her eyes and she's fantasizing former President Trump as the Speaker of the House, and former President Trump, they turned that proposition down. He's going for the number one job, president. He's got to be president. He won't accept that speaker position, you know. That's like being to him. That's like being a busboy in the White House. You know, like being a busboy cleaning up the tables. Being the House Speaker is like cleaning up the tables in the White House. You know. So anyway, there he is with the gavel, Over there. Okay. There. There's Marjorie Taylor Greene fantasizing. And here's former President Trump as he picks up the gavel in her fantasy. Then the resolution is passed. Military support is withheld for Ukraine depending on congressional Democrats' support of the Biden impeachment inquiry. The chair declares the House in recess. And it goes, boom. That's it, in recess. Recess. There. Okay. There is. Okay. Yeah. Okay. All right. Numero uno de los semanas. Here we have former President Trump watching Jim Jordan here. There's Jim, and reporters are interviewing him. You see, former President Trump is watching reporters. There's the microphone. Somebody's sticking out a microphone there to Jim Jordan. Yeah, and there's former President Trump. Yeah. Okay. There you got a yellow tie on there, a blue shirt. There he is. There's former President Trump. Okay. Former President Donald Trump his thoughts on Friday watching his ally and fierce loyalist and vocal election denier, that's right, vocal, really vocal, Representative Jim Jordan, Republican, Ohio, chairman of the House Judiciary Committee, talking with reporters. You know, I don't know how that would have gone if he was elected speaker. So we would have been chairman of the Judiciary Committee, chairman of the committee of the impeachment inquiry against Joe Biden, and Speaker of the House. Oh man, he would have been like Mussolini there before, you know. Okay, amid Jordan being nominated as next House Speaker, but falling short of the votes needed as a number of Republicans have spoken out against Jordan, who Trump supports. This is it's historical here, but it's still relevant, I feel, in a way. And the former president, amid talking about the risks Israel now faces, saying, you know, Hezbollah is very smart. They're all very smart. So President Trump now, these leaders now who are basically who have a de facto, this is more Iran with their de facto group and everybody else, and so basically by de facto president, in a way, he's saying all these groups now are smart for being proxies. This Hezbollah, he said, was smart. They're smart people for being a proxy for Iran and doing those things. That's President Trump has a good shot at becoming president again. So yeah, it'll be good for Iran for sure. Not too good for Israel. But anyway, here we go. There you go. All right, now, here's President Trump's former President Trump's thoughts as he's watching Jim Jordan answer the question here. Okay? Okay, that's what he said. Okay, Jim, his thoughts. Okay. Jim is going to be a fantastic speaker for me. We have to put the pressure on those F Rhino House Republicans. Real pressure, not those not supporting Jim, not supporting him. Maybe I should contact some very smart people in Hezbollah. So there we go here. There we are. Well, he said they're smart people, right? They're very smart people. So they could help persuade some of those Rhino Republicans to vote for Jim Jordan, which they did not do. But they did vote for Mike Johnson, who led the Texas charge to overturn elections in 4 states, mainly because because of, again, McCarthy put up a proposition where him and Jordan would become co-speakers. And everybody said, oh, no, that can't happen. No, we don't want McCarthy. We don't want Jordan. So we will take this guy. We'll take him, So that's what probably what happened there. They threw up their hands because they weren't going to vote for the Democrat. And they didn't want to make no deals with Democrats and put this guy now, the head of the Democratic Party. They didn't want no part of him being speaker and make deals with Democrats. So they went along with this guy, Mike. They went along with Mike. So they say, remember that commercial? He likes it. Mikey likes it with the Wheaties. And or he says, Mikey likes it. He likes it. Well, Mikey likes Trump. He likes Trump. Mikey likes it. He likes that that people believe that the election was stolen. Mikey likes it. He likes it. So he's a nice guy. So let's vote for him instead of getting either the Democratic leader or a co speakership with McCarthy, who floated that idea with Jordan. You see, and then what happened there? It would have been Jordan, and McCarthy would have been like, So I did a cartoon about that. That's another story. Okay, folks, I want to thank you very much for watching my cartoon countdown for today. And God bless you, and God bless America. And I say our prayers for all those people suffering from these conflicts throughout the world. And what I can't leave this without saying what atrocity it was for Israel, what they went through. That no other. This is that when I watch those things, I feel it's devastating to watch those things, and you can't say something without thinking about that. And again, I say, when America cracks and America is divided, it opens the floodgates. And in part, and Israel was divided too. So you had Israel divided, America divided. So it's double indemnity. The devil. All right, I said enough. I just wanted to. I can't leave that out. What a horrible thing that was. In this day and age. And then I looked at the cars, and I looked at that. You think this is something back from the Stone Age. And then you see cars like the cars we see here in America. And I said, holy smokes, this is happening now. Look at those cars. Those cars could be parked on the street where I live. The same. This is 2023. This is happening in. So it's a shocker. It's a shocker. And I say a prayer specifically for all those victims of that atrocity. All right. God bless you, folks. God bless America. Stay well. I'll see you next time. Bye.